would probably help if I turned myself on. I'm just saying it would probably help. All right. Good morning. We are running later than usual. Yes, we are. We're running later than usual. My name is Brett Johnson. This is the Brett Johnson Show. As everyone knows, everyone already knows that Brett runs late. Everyone knows that. When I die, I will probably be late to my funeral. And let's hope I don't die anytime soon. I know that there are some elements that wish I were dead. And you know what I've got to say to that? I've got to say, not today, Satan. Not today. That's what I've got to say. So we're going to start today out. I'm going to say my good mornings as soon as we read. Jordan Godsey was kind enough over the weekend to send over a Bible verse and a suggestion that I started the day with that. And I read it, and I think the man is absolutely correct. This is Ecclesiastes 8:9. Now, Joe Engel, I know at your church, because, it's not God's church. It's not Jesus's church. It's Joe Engel's church. I know at your church, you may not know where the book of Ecclesiastes is at. So if you'll find Proverbs, I hope you know where that's at. If you'll find Proverbs, it's after Proverbs. It's before the Song of Solomon. Okay, that's it. Now, Joe, the Bible, King James Version, and Carol Combs, you'll note I'm holding it the right way up. The King James Version is separate. The Bible is separated into two books, Joe. The Old Testament and then the New Testament. The Old Testament, the big thing you got to remember, Joe, in the Old Testament is it no longer applies. All right. Jesus, Joe, is the Son of God. Okay. He came down here and he fulfilled the Old Testament. He gave us hope and love, and kindness and charity and way. Says you only reach the Father through and by me. So that's what he says. You need to read this stuff, Joe. It's important now. It's important. All right. But the Old Testament is where Ecclesiastes is at. The New you got the Old and the New. We Christians, and I'm not saying I'm a Christian, but Christians, we follow the New Testament. What I remember most about the Old Testament is the Lord was not, he was a wrathful God in the Old Testament. He was, and he didn't like you to dig on swine. He did not like you to eat shrimp or lobster. I don't eat lobster today. I don't. I love the taste of lobster, but I read an essay once upon a time it was called "Consider the Lobster," and because of the way the lobster is cooked and the way a lobster is built, made in nature, it feels every single thing that's done to it. And you're boiling that son of a bitch alive. So I was like, no, I can't dig on lobsters anymore. But I do. Man, I love me some fried shrimp. I do. And I absolutely love me some bacon and some smoked pork and some barbecue ribs. And oh, my Lord, it's so good. It's so good. But Jesus tells me that I can dig on swine now. And believe you me, I do. So, Joe, follow along now. This is Ecclesiastes 8:9. All right. So 8:9, that's after verse 7. I'm sorry, it's after verse 8, but before verse 10. That's 9. Okay, Joe. So follow along. All right. So all this I have seen and applied my heart unto every work that is done under the sun. There is a time wherein one man ruleth over another to his own hurt. So what does that mean, Joe? Well, Joe, that means when people misuse power to dominate others, it results in harm, affliction, and vanity, things like that. That's the thing. Vanity, man, oh man, oh man. Pride goeth before a fall. Does it ever? Does it ever? I am still an egotistical person. I have trouble with humility. I can be very prideful at times. When I was committing crime, I was a very prideful, conceited, not a very good person. Not a very good person. Ecclesiastes applies to me on that because I did rule over people. I used my position, my skills, who I was in that criminal underworld to victimize other people, to rule over other people, to cause harm and affliction. And I had a lot of vanity. You can tell now I've got a face for radio. All right. But I've got a decent voice. I want to read something else before I'm going to say hello to everybody. Just hold on. So I want to read something else. I saw this today, this morning, going through my Facebook post. All right, and let's pull this up. Oh, that is something else. I want to read this because it really hit home with me, and I think that it is important. So I saved it. Of course, I saved it. Of course, I did. So this is from a fellow by the name of Keith Yackey, Yackey, on Facebook. And I'm going to read some of it because I probably won't read all of it. But he says, almost 9 years ago, to the day, Jesse Joy left me. It was over. I was a piece of shit. No other way to explain it. And he ranks himself. He says, parent to Jovi. I was a 2 out of 10. Parent and partner to my best friend, Jesse, one who left him, 2 out of 10. Producer of abundance, 8 out of 10. Playful within the marriage, 1 out of 10. Power to honor my word in each situation, 1 out of 10. Low numbers, yet to the outside, everything looked fine. It almost always does. Good exterior, trash interior. Her leaving me woke me up. She wasn't going to put up with my shit behavior anymore. I didn't blame her once I saw it. This is what opened my eyes. Your wife leaving you may be what you need to pull your head out of your ass, like me. But it doesn't have to happen that way. You can learn from others' mistakes. And he goes on. And one thing that really hit me in what he said, he says, I am the problem. I am the solution. That's what he says. Now, for those who may have been watching the show before, I'm very adamant about saying that wherever you are in your life is because of your choices. It's not because of your mom and dad. It's not because of where you went to school, what neighborhood you grew up in, anything else. Where you are in life, yes, we're all born to a certain lot. We are. We're born in certain neighborhoods to certain economic factors, education factors. We're all born to different things. But within that scope, within that structure, those confines, within that, where we are in our life is because of our choices. I am the problem. I am also the solution. Yackey says in there that, it took his wife leaving him for him to pull his head out of his ass. A lot of truth there. It took me going to prison. It took my sister disowning me. It took my now ex-wife, Michelle, coming into my life and showing me what a healthy relationship is. It took the FBI taking me in under their wing, which I still work with them today. It took all of those things in order for Brett Johnson to pull his head out of his ass and choose to turn my life around. That's what it took. We are the problem. We are also the solution. Ecclesiastes 8 and 9. The people who are in power, who have some sort of authority over us on this planet, those people sometimes misuse their power, their authority, to victimize other people. What do we do about that? We cannot control what other people do. We can't. We may want to. I've got a girlfriend, and my girlfriend, man, she wants, I'm going to get in trouble for this. I'm going to get in trouble for this. My girlfriend she really does want to try to control everything. She does, and I can't blame her. See, I'm trying to dig myself out of that hole I just dug myself into there. What I tell her, though, and what I say to myself, and I apply this as well, is, hey, you cannot control what other people do. You can't. You cannot. The only thing you can control is yourself, if you're lucky, all right? But also, you can control how you respond to other people. That's it. That's it. Controlling yourself means you need to be like Yaki and pull your head out of your ass. It's going to take something to do that. A lot of people, they're not self-aware enough to be able to do that of their own accord. Something has to happen. That's like when I talk about addiction. You have to hit rock bottom. You have to get so damn low that you don't really have, I mean, you always have a choice, but at that point, the choice is, hey, do I stay where the hell I am and continue here at the bottom, or do I choose a different path? Something has to force you to change, to become self-aware. For Yaki, it was his wife leaving him. For me, it was going to prison. For me, it's this show, what we're doing in Eastern Kentucky now. For me, it's the divorce that I just went through. All right. You want to know how I rank myself? I'll rank myself right now the way that Yaki did. Okay. So let me pull this up again because I don't want to miss anything. He said 5 criteria. I may have a few more. I don't know. So he says parent. So I had 2 stepsons. How would I rank myself with my stepsons? I would say that at times I was a 10. I would say that that the marriage ended with me being about a 7, 6 or a 7. And why I say that is I was becoming increasingly unhappy in that relationship. And because of that, I was developing apathy. I was becoming more silent, things like that. And that's really the reason that I just filed for divorce. I did not want to be the person that was at the house angry at everyone all the time. I didn't want to be that. All right. So I would rank myself like that. Partner to Jesse is what he says. So partner to my ex-wife, Michelle, I would say that ended low. I would actually say that was low all the way through the relationship. So, yeah, I would say that a 2 is what I would say on that. Producer of abundance. Well, now I can make some money. I can steal some money too. I don't do that anymore. So I would say that was probably a 9. All right. Playful within my marriage. I'm always good about that. I was always good until the last of that marriage. I was always good about making sure that the environment was fun. I'm a guy that always cuts up. Always. I'm always doing some sort of bullshit. Like I bought for Halloween one year, I bought this latex devil's mask, this full thing, it would move your face and everything else like that. And no one knew I got it in. So it was approaching Halloween about a week before, and I got it in. I was really proud of it. I put the damn thing on. I got outside, and everyone was in the den, watching television or a scary movie or something like that. And I go up to the door in the dark, and all you see is this big devil face. Scared the absolute dog shit out of them. I like doing that. I liked having one of the boys. They'd go in the bathroom to take a poo. They'd go in there, and I'd know they were in there, and I'd tiptoe upstairs and I just wait right outside of the bathroom door, listening for the toilet to flush, knowing they were zipping up and noticing maybe they weren't washing their hands like they were supposed to. I'm going to have to talk to them about that. But I'd wait. And then they'd open the door, not knowing what was waiting for them. And I would, rah! And they would shit a second time. That's fun. So I would say, playful within the household, a 10. Playful within the marriage, sometimes. Power to honor my word in each situation, 10. 10. Well, 9, because no one's perfect. 8, because no one's even near perfect, all right? When I went to prison, when you're in prison, you don't have anything. That's one of the benefits of prison, and it is absolutely a benefit. We on this planet, we are very attached to our material goods, like my rubber ducky. We're very attached to our material goods. This is a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man rubber ducky for any Ghostbusters fans out there. Yeah, we're very attached to that. Come to find out, when you go to prison, you don't get to take rubber ducky with you. You don't. You don't have shit in prison. What you have in prison is your word. That's what you got. You don't have anything else. That's what's of value. That's what's of value. And because you don't have anything else, a lot of people, if they have the power and choose to start working on themselves, to looking inward, to looking in that abyss, as Nietzsche says, and that abyss stares back at you. When you get to that point and you don't have anything, you start to gain value from inside, not from the way people view you. You gain it from inside. And when you don't have anything else, you start to understand what's important. Relationships are important. Your word is important. That's really the only thing you have of value. Your word in prison. If you tell someone that you're going to do something, do it. Do it. I've got your back. That means I've got your back. I got you covered for commissary. That means I've got you covered for commissary. You're going through a divorce and you're not sure if somebody's going to be there for you. I'll be there for you. Follow your word. Period. No if, no ands, no buts, no excuses. If you don't follow your word in prison, you might get your ass beat or worse. If you don't follow your word, but it's worse than that. If you don't follow your word, who are you? Who's ever going to believe you? Who's ever going to love you or respect you or appreciate you? They can't count on you. They don't know if anything that you're telling them is true. Because at that moment, when you said, I'll do this, or I've got you, or yes, I'm telling you the truth, and you don't, how can they believe you anymore? So you've got your word. It's one of the big things that I found out when I got out of prison. I know I'm going on with this, but one of the big things I found out when I got out of prison, I'd served 7 years, and I was used to that mentality. Someone says something, that's the way it is. That's not the way it is. That is not the way it is in the physical world. It's not. It's not. It's so bad in the physical world when someone gives you their word, oftentimes, and they follow through with it. Well, you're somewhat surprised. They said they'd be there. Huh? Who would have thought? I didn't know that. It was so bad for me, that shock, that about a year and a half after I got out, I was telling my dad, man, I wish I was back in. At least I knew who was who and what I could trust and what not. I'm used to it now. I'm used to it. I have apathy sometimes in like cybersecurity. I had to write a thing down for an attorney that I'm seeing later today. And there was some question about, hey, has this guy reformed? And I'm like, I think I'm all right. I think I'm all right. So I started to list stuff. Sent over to his paralegal. Hey, Here's you some bullet points. This is what I can get you. You know, I work with the FBI. I assisted in all these people getting arrested. You can Google me. You know, I can give you character references from law enforcement agencies across the United States and across the planet, from CEOs, from former prosecutors. I give you all this. That says when Brett Johnson says something, he means it. He means it. When it says that Brett Johnson says he's not committing crime anymore, that he means what he says. When he says, I'm here to help people and businesses protect themselves from that type of person that I used to be. That's what I mean. When he says that Pooky, when he says that young Pooky here is the best little PTSD puppy on the planet, that's what he means. That's exactly what he means. When he says he loves little Pooky and can't get enough of little Pooky, that's exactly what he means as well. That's exactly what he means. Ain't that right, little buddy? Pooky. So I've been feeding Pooky rotisserie chicken, and Pooky likes rotisserie chicken. He does. Well, I made a mistake, didn't I? Well, not to you, I didn't make a mistake. To you, it was a boon, wasn't it? Yeah. So the other day, I buy McDonald's chicken nuggets, not because of the nugget. Let's be honest now. Now, the nugget, when it's hot, is not bad. But the nugget is crap. It's crap. It really is. It tastes like some sort of cardboard. Not to this guy, it doesn't. But to me, I was like, I buy the nuggets to get the hot mustard sauce, which you have to check the bag because they're not used to people requesting hot mustard. They throw honey mustard in there. I don't want that bullshit. I want hot mustard. So to me, the nugget is a vehicle of delivery for the hot mustard sauce. So I'll get like 5 of these things. Love the hell out of them. So I made the mistake. Pooky was looking at me. And I was like, man, I don't think you'll eat this. Well, I gave young Pooky, I gave young Pooky a little bite of a McDonald's chicken nugget. I'm going to tell you what. This son of a bitch right here, that is like crack cocaine to little Pooky. That's exactly what it is. I would say it's like meth, but Pooky has a normal size, doggy bum hole. He does. So it's like crack cocaine. You cannot get enough of McDonald's chicken nuggets. I tell you what, I'll take a pinch of one off. I cut him some up in a plate, but I'll take a pinch of one off and I'll give to him. That little dog, this little guy right here, he's jumping. He doesn't bark, but he does like that. He goes nuts over McDonald's chicken nuggets, don't you? You do. Yes, you do. I'm going to put you down, okay? There we go. So that's young Pooky. But I was talking about my word. Now, the reason I say that, I'm going to talk about Sean Risner and Sean White. We got the Seans today. We'll talk about all that in a minute. We'll talk about Deanna over at Cordia. Yes, we are. Even though Ned Pillersdork, the attorney of choice for several miscreants in the Eastern Kentucky area, even though Ned Pillersdork sent a cease and desist letter. I've not got it yet because I guess old Ned doesn't know where I live. But I get the message, Ted. I'm going to tell you, Ted, Ned, whatever. That name reminds me of a Simpsons character. Just got to tell you. Anyway, what I'm saying is that Ned Pillersdork sent my associate, Jordan Godsey, sent him a cease and desist letter saying, hey, it's demonstrably false what you and the others, because I guess he didn't know where I live. So he included others. I guess I'm others. Like I'm going to a different water fountain in the 1950s. I'm now to be referred to as others. So others here hasn't got it yet. Others gets the message. Ted, Ned, whatever your damn name is. I get the message. All right. So I promise you that I will not say anything about Deanna unless it's documented, unless I have corroboration. Do I have to tell you what the corroboration is? No, I do not. Google considers me a journalist. I have journalistic integrity. If my sources are anonymous, you, sir, can take me to court and request a subpoena, at which point I will claim the same thing that the publishers of the Pentagon Papers claimed, and I will say, fuck you. And you will say, and I will go, ha! And you go, and I will go, ha! And I'll continue talking. But I do have some stuff to talk about today. I've requested some Freedom of Information documents on Deanna. I want more people to reach out to me so I can have, different sources that corroborate the same thing that don't know each other. I can talk about even more, but we're going to mention it in a minute. The reason I'm talking about my word and everything else and how important it is to give your word, I gave my word to the Clark family the other day, and I said, I will do anything that I can to see justice done for Emmeline Clark, 16 years old, that Joe Engel didn't give a shit about, that John Hanson did not indict Noah back for murder on the 24th, that Bill Back did his best to get his son out of trouble, that Angie Back knew it was going on, let it happen, that Natasha Combs and the dad of the living victim knew it was going on. I told the Clark family I will do whatever I can to see justice done for that child. And when I give my word on something, I mean it. I mean it. However, it appears that when some people give their word to me, sometimes they may not mean it. Or maybe they do. That's why we got to make a phone call here in a second. We got to call the Perry County Board of Education. We got to talk to, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, somebody in the comments, I'll check the comments in a second before we call. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the assistant superintendent is Johnny Wooten. Now, I called Johnny. I called Johnny a few weeks ago. And when I got through that call, I was happier than a pig in shit. Now, I don't know if pigs are happy when they're in shit, but that's an expression. It is. I can't imagine that they are. I mean, I would not like rolling around in poo. Scott Blair might, but I don't. Maybe a pig doesn't either. They say pigs are very intelligent. I know they're very tasty. And the New Testament, Joe, the New Testament says that I can dig on swine. That's what it says. That's what it says. So I do dig on swine, and I know they're smart. Of course, they're not smart enough to not end up in a frying pan. So they're not that smart. I mean, I'm not in a frying pan, so I must be smarter than that. Anyway, I was talking to, I called people who watch the show. I called superintendent or assistant super. I called asking for the superintendent, and he wasn't there. And I was saying I was a reporter from the Associated Press. That's what I was saying, because I do shit like that. Well, I called back, and they put me through to the assistant attendant. And I said, I've whatever from the Associated Press. And he says, in a nice gotcha moment, which I thought made very good YouTube video, he said, Brett, we know it's you. And I was like, shh. And then we talked, and I said, hey, I went to school with the man. And I said, hey, Angie Back, mandated reporter, principal at, come here, buddy. Principal at R.W. Combs Elementary School, mother of child predator and protector of child predator, Noah Back. I understand she's been suspended with pay. And Johnny told me, Johnny told me, he's like, Brett, as of tomorrow, it's without pay. And I was happy. I was happy as the proverbial pig in shit. And I was rolling around in it, basking in the poo. The problem is when you are around shit, you get some shit on you. And it's never good to be rolling around or have shit on you. You can ask Pooky here. When he was a youngin', when he was a youngin', he got some poo on him, and I had to clean it off of him. And I got some poo on me, and he didn't like it, and I didn't like it. Well, after talking to Johnny Wooten, I was rolling around happy as a pig and shit. Little did I know I didn't like it. So, I got a note, and we're going to make a phone call. I'm going to check in with the comments and say good morning to everyone because I've not done that yet. So I got a note saying, I want to read this because I've had more than one person tell me this, and I had dismissed it because I took the word of Johnny Wooten, because when you give your word, you give your word. It means something. When you come right down to it, what is a man if you can't count on his word? So, I got this message. And it's got all kinds of stuff in. I'm just going to hit this today. It says, Angie Back is still on payroll. They offered her a job with a $30,000 pay cut. She has 1 year to retirement. Now, here's the thing. I am not of the opinion that someone who allows their son to rape children should be allowed to retire from the school system where she was mandated to report the behavior of anything that might endanger a child. I am not of the opinion that that should take place. Matter of fact, I'm of the opinion that maybe Angie should be covered in shit and forced to roll around with that. There's an old joke about going to hell, which I hope I can't say she is. But in my dreams at night, I do dream of Angie and Bill and a lot of other people sometimes roasting. There's an old joke about going to hell, and this guy gets to hell, and they hand him a cup of coffee, and he goes over, and he's up to shit in his neck. He looks at the other guy that's got a cup of coffee, and he's taking a sip, and he's like, well, this isn't too bad. And about that time, a whistle blows. It says, coffee break over, back on your heads. Angie, I would hope that she gets a lot of shit that she has to go through. And I do not think that she should be allowed to retire from the school system where she absolutely did not uphold her responsibilities. You want to know what really drives me? Those who have maybe searched my past know that I am very critical, or was. I stopped talking about national politics, but I was very critical of Trump. I was very critical of Biden. I've been critical of everyone. And it took ChatGPT to inform me that, hey, it's not really politics that's your problem. Your problem is that you are absolutely offended by hypocrisy. And I sat there and I read it, and I was like, bingo. I found out something new about myself. I cannot be a hypocrite. I can't be. I refuse to be. I get divorced because I don't want to be a hypocrite. I refuse to lose now that I'm on the good side because I am not going to be a hypocrite. And I cannot stand people who are. I cannot stand a sheriff who claims to be a preacher but doesn't have the insight or the self-awareness to not say it's his church or to not seek justice for a 16-year-old dead child. I can't stand that. I can't stand a school board who would protect pedophiles. sweep things under the rug. A parent, even a parent, yeah, you may love your child, and I respect you for that, and you should. No matter what that child does, you should love your child. If you don't, there's something wrong with you. That doesn't mean you have to like your child. I love my mom. Can't say I don't like her, but I love my mom. You can love something but not like it. But that doesn't mean you have to engage in being a hypocrite at the same time. So we're going to call the school board in just a minute. I'm going to talk to Johnny Wooten. We're going to see what he says. And then we're going to see what my response is. That's what we're going to do. Let's say good morning. All right. Susan, I just see your message. I saw your message. I've not had a chance to open it this morning. That'll be this evening because I have to go see an attorney later on, well, early afternoon, and get ready for that. All right. Penny Napier, good morning. Hope you're doing all right. Caitlin Watson, good morning. Sweet Pooky. I know Pooky's outstanding. He's paid a visit twice today. Pooky's doing all right. Stephanie Smith, good morning to you. I've got for my breakfast this morning. So I went and got some toaster strudels. I was over the and I was like, hey, man, toaster strudels. I like Pop-Tarts. When I take with the Pop-Tart, I'll rip all the outside crust off. So I just have the icing on the inside, and it's very good like that. So I was like, a toaster strudel, it's in the freezer section. They say kids love them. I'll try it. So the other day, I tried some, and I had 3 more in the freezer. Fixed them for breakfast this morning. I'm not really a fan. I'm not. I like Pop-Tarts. So we're going to wolf that down as the show goes and go from there. Howard Sumner. Hey, you guys, we got an election coming up. Good morning, Howard, by the way. Howard is a dog fan. We know I am too. Howard's a great man. At least from I got to talk to him. He comes on the show all the time. He comments. And in the comments he says, I'm going to tell you guys something. He says it the way it is. Now, Howard may be last in the mayoral race. He may very well be. But he is leagues above Donald Happy Penis Head Mottolini. He's leagues above him. At least when Howard opens his mouth, I know Howard's saying the truth. When Happy Penis Head opens his mouth, I mean, that's kind of a weird thing to say. Because as I've said it, I was like, is something going to spew out of his mouth? Because he's got a penis head. Anyway, when Happy talks, not like Michael Clark talks with his penis, but when Happy talks, we know it's a lie. We know it is. That illegal restaurant tax money is an escrow. Then Crystal Morris shows us all, well, it's not an escrow. What's that lying son of a bitch saying up there on the stage? Howard Sumner, I like the hell out of him. I do. If I were a registered voter in Perry County, don't give a shit where he'd be in the polls. That's my vote right there, man. That's my vote right there. Now, I'm not a registered voter. Now, I do know how to register dead people to vote. I have done that before. Not saying I will. I'm just saying I know how to do that. It's one of those skills that I acquired over all those years of illegal activity. So, I like Howard Sumner. I like Shaun White. I don't know who the hell I like for county judge executive. I just don't know. I don't know. But anyway, Howard's leagues above Happy Penis Head. He's leagues above, the voyeur, evidently the voyeur of rumor, James Logan Field. Now, I say voyeur of rumor because I had at least 2 people reach out and say, they found some cameras at the Danny Boone Hotel. Some workers did, and they were fired as soon as they mentioned it. I had somebody reach out to me. Somebody else reach out and said, and she was like, hey, he was always, if you gave him certain favors, he'd let you drink all night. And I was sitting there thinking, shit, if you gave that son of a bitch certain favors, if you gave him certain favors, you'd have to drink all night. in the hopes of forgetting the certain favors that you gave him. So anyway, Howard Sumner's way above that guy. And look, if that softball guy is watching today, that was so adamant about, trying to threaten me after I had left and had to say it to my first cousin. If you're watching, I'm sorry if I've offended you. Fuck you. Now, that being said, we'll run a roll today. Anyway, we got an election coming up. I don't care. I don't care if you think my vote doesn't matter. It does. It does. A message needs to be sent. Message needs to be sent. Get out there and vote. As I try to choke this toaster strudel down. All right. Good morning. Brian Campbell. Good morning, my friends. Good morning, Brett and Pooky. My wife and I were both teachers in Perry County. The school board is a piece of work. Let me tell you, stay frosty, bro, and pupper. Now, when Brian Campbell, and I don't know Brian, but I like Brian. Why do I like Brian? Because he's saying the truth. It's what we do on this show. We may be belligerent. Children may notice, even though they like the Brett Johnson show, they may notice that the Brett Johnson show is all about talking shit while telling the truth. I like that. I like that. I like that. I like that. I may add that tag to the show. All about talking shit while telling the truth. I like it. All right. So Brian says, school board is a piece of work. Now that is a nice euphemism. A nice euphemism for saying the school board is a bunch of some bitches. That's what they are. They have been since Punkin Combs, probably before Punkin Combs. Certainly all through it. Certainly all through it. Even through today with Angie back and the way they protected child predators, swept things under the rug, tried to determine elections, tried to hide gambling conspiracies, all that. And Joe Engel knew about it, posted about it on Facebook, evidently was, told, take that down or we'll ruin your life. And he didn't. He did. Brett Johnson, Stephanie Smith, you love to keep us anxiously waiting. I'm sorry I was late. I'm sorry. There's my buddy, Frankenberry. Good morning, folks. Good morning, Franken. There's Lori saying good morning. There's Stephanie saying good morning to Franken. Let's go scroll down. Cajun Man, I'm going to try to see you this week. All right. Won't be today, but it'll be later through this week. All right. Teresa Lemaster, good morning. Susan Reeder, good morning to you. Joanna Peddington, good morning. Better late than never. I know. Jeanette Mingle, good morning. Neil Singleton, good morning. Hope you're doing all right. Scroll on down there because we got a call to make. Defense rest. I love the defense rest. Yeah. Jody's great. Good morning, my friend from Leatherwood. Give that Pooky snuggles for me. Pooky sleeps like the dead. He was screaming at me last night. He gets up and whines and whines. He's like, it's bedtime, man. So finally I laid down, passed out. He passed out with me. Didn't offer to get up until I got up this morning. Jeanette Minglehall, our pastor's sermon was on pride yesterday. We are prideful at times. We are all sinners. None of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. Okay. And we need to understand that. I talk about, that path for me turning my life around, that path for addiction, all that. I was addicted to crime. I chose crime. I chose committing crime above the relationships in my life. That is I was told in prison by some counselors that if you're addicted to something, you can't really love anything else but that addiction. You'll always choose that addiction first. That's true, by the way. It's true. I chose to put my criminal activities in front of people that I claimed that I loved, but I put those activities first. Yaki there, I read his Facebook post, part of it. He chose to put other things first in front of his relationships, and it took him losing those relationships for him to understand the importance of them. It took me going through everything I've went through to understand the importance of relationships. It's not material goods. It's not, it's not the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man rubber ducky. It's not. It's relationships. It took me getting divorced, which was finalized last week. It took me getting divorced to understand, relationships again, because sometimes you lose sight of what's important. You may know it, but sometimes you lose sight of it. It takes those wake-up calls. We only learn through the difficult times. We only grow as human beings through the difficult times. I believe we only get closer to God through those difficult times. If you have everything handed to you, if you live that entitled and privileged life, and you never encounter any difficulties, how can you know yourself, have empathy for anyone or sympathy? How can you get closer to God? How can you do that? I just don't believe you can. So it's through those hard times that we grow and we advance. None of us are perfect. There's always backsliding. You're always going to backslide. But as long as you continue to move forward is what matters. That's what matters. We are a prideful people. I am a prideful person. I've got a lot of faults. Other than my colorful language, I've got a lot of faults. I've never claimed to be perfect. I try to check myself when I can. Sometimes I don't realize it until it's too late. But I really try to continue moving forward. I truly do. I truly do. And I hope everyone else does too. All right. So, Michelle Combs, good morning. Best show on Facebook. Love you and Pooky. Man, I need more people to say that. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. That guy, that softball field. To make sure you hate me properly, you should probably subscribe. That's what you should probably do. You should probably tell anyone else who hates me, because I'm sure maybe you guys have got a little clubhouse. And Happy Penis Head can be like the president or the treasurer of the clubhouse. He can. I'll second that if you want me to. So, tell your fellow haters, softball man. And I'm going to tell you, dude, come on now. Come on. I don't intimidate. I mean, somebody who has been on the United States Most Wanted list, someone who has had paperwork that literally says the United States of America versus Brett Johnson. That's intimidating. Someone who's had that, someone who has, been around, and I've never joined, and I'm not racist. I'm not bigoted either, but someone who served time with Aryan Brotherhood. I don't intimidate. I don't get scared. I don't run away. And when I tell you something, when I give you my word, I mean it. Unlike someone we were getting ready to call. I think. We'll see. We'll see. All right. So, Michelle Coots, proud of you. Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate that. Neil Singleton, it took me getting in trouble and losing my daughter for almost a year to open my eyes. It takes something. Something has to force that change. Hitting rock bottom, going to prison, whatever it is, something has to force that change. Chances of you doing it of your own accord, probably not. You may claim you are, but probably not. My daughter is my world, and I always try to make her proud. Now, because she was too young to remember me getting in trouble. And she may have been. You're not. You know you're in trouble, and you know what the consequences of that was. And I met you at the Perry County Park. I thought you were outstanding, and I'm proud of you. I am. And it looks to me like you've got your eyes on the prize. When you cannot control what's happening, control the way you respond to what's happening. for that is where your power is. We, as individuals, as an individual, I can only control my response to somebody else. We as a team, as a unit, as an us, we are able to have our own responses, not just as a person, but as a group as well. And we are absolutely becoming that team. People are listening. People are paying attention. It matters. Ugly Scott Alexander, the Quasimodo of Perry County, the Hunchback of Hazard. Ugly Scott, Bug-Eye Scott. He could have been a replacement for, that guy in Young Frankenstein. Anyone's not seen that movie, go watch it. It's a good one. Scott decided he was going to mention others. And again, I'm others. I guess I'm others. I guess I don't have a name anymore. I'm being referred to by Ned Pillersdork as others. Scott on the stage. There are some others not in our area trying to rain on our parade. Well, Scott, if your parade wasn't if your parade wasn't filled with corruption and wrongdoing, to the point that you look like this with these bug eyes, wasn't filled with that, no one would be trying to rain on it. They would be having those little poppers you can get at the party goods store, beep, beep. That's what they would have. But no, it's filled with corruption and wrongdoing and paying people $50 an hour to do nothing. So, of course, someone's going to rain on your parade because your parade is a parade of shit and corruption and wrongdoing. And we need to vote you out, you son of a bitch. So, when I hit rock bottom, the rock was still there. Yeah, the rock ain't going no place. You need to. You need to either stay on that rock and camp out or get your ass off that rock. I mean, everybody goes through self-pity. I don't have a lot of empathy for self-pity anymore. I don't. What I tell people is, hey, I told my girlfriend this. Told her she was going through some bad times. I was like, look, I understand what you feel. I truly do. I'm sorry you're going through this. I'm here for you because when I give my word, I mean it. I'm here for you. Take you some time. I didn't say wallow in self-pity, but that's what I was saying in the back of my head, because if you said that shit out loud, that wouldn't be good. It would not be good. But that's why I was thinking in the back of my head. And then I was like, hey, then what are you going to do about it? It's okay to wallow for a minute. What are you going to do about it? All that energy that's spent wallowing in self-pity, because it's a little comforting, because you have people saying, oh, I feel so sorry for you. That's fine to do that for a moment. Then what are you going to do about it? Get off your ass and do something about it. Be constructive, be proactive, or sit there and wallow. And I promise you, nothing positive will happen. That's what matters. That's what life is. Getting off your ass when you're knocked down and continuing forward. That's what it's all about. Do you have the willpower, the courage, the strength, and the self-awareness to do that? Or are you just going to sit there and wallow in it? I wallow in that shit. I don't think so. I lost my mother to kidney and bone cancer, my big sister 4 months later to an overdose. Good night. I was spiraling in addiction. It took me losing them to save me. And I am so sorry that happened. I'm proud of you that you overcame that. And, this is what I'm saying. It takes something to force you to change. You're not going to do that of your own accord. You're not. Someone tells you they've changed their life. I get all these, former criminals, a ton of them. I've changed my life, or they're about to go to court. That's often the case. They're about to go to court, and they reach out to Brett because they know Brett's I've got connections across the planet. I've got friends in the FBI. I've got friends in the Secret Service. I've got friends in the DOJ, all this other stuff. I know tons of CEOs, all this kind of stuff. And I reached out to Brett because Brett's also kind of the moral voice of cybersecurity. Top of the food chain on the bad guy's side, and holy shit, he's top of the food chain on the good guy's side. He doesn't do anything in small matters at all. He always goes big. So these criminals will reach out to me, and now I've changed. I've turned my life around. I want to do things right. And I'm out of the gate. I'm like, nah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think maybe you're full of a little shit. That's what I think. What caused you to change? And at that point, it's some bullshit. Well, it was seeing my child being born. Now, that, for someone who hasn't been through the shit, that sounds like maybe that's a truthful answer. Okay. But for someone who's actually been through the shit, who's actually hit rock bottom, who's lost family members, who's lost a daughter they were trying to raise, who's lost everything, for someone who's actually hit rock bottom, when you hear somebody say, it was the birth of my child that caused me to turn my life around, the first thing I think is, well, you didn't turn your life around when you were screwing the woman that gave birth to your child. You didn't give a shit then. You continued breaking the law until it popped out of the hatch. Really? And then you had an epiphany at that moment when the little rugrat is covered in that goo and crying and screaming? That's what turned your life around? Tell me more. Bullshit. That's kind of what I think most of the time. I don't hold back. Anyone who watches this show probably suspects already that Johnson boy, he does not hold back. That boy does not hold back at all. That boy, good Lord, that boy says exactly what he thinks. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody do that before, but he does it. Man, he is colorful in some of his descriptions. But for some reason, my 80-year-old mother, devout Christian, she watches them every single day, language and all. And my children sit there. I've got pictures and videos of kids watching this show. And I'm like, I like that kid. I need to find me a small Brett Johnson t-shirt to send to that tyke. That's what I need to find. So, yeah. So, carrying right along because we need to make that call. Christy Robinson, it's great to meet you. Good morning as well. Scrolling on down, man, we got a ton of comments. Sounds to me, Frankenberry, sounds to me like they allowed him to plead to nearly nothing compared to what he should be going for. Just like what happened to a certain county attorney's case. It's shameful. It is absolutely shameful. Carla Gibson, Brett Johnson. There's a thing or two that should be exposed a county over from Perry County. Carla, send me what you got. All right, seriously. It could definitely use you're looking into. It's corruption. It's got corruption all over it. A family is suffering. Please send me what you got. Christy, this county is so corrupted and city time for a change, and it's time for a change and good, honest change. Let's do the right damn thing for Perry County. That phrase is stuck, hasn't it? It did. I started saying that a few years ago, just as a tag on a podcast that I was doing as an end tag. And over time, it was crazy for me. Over time, it became this mantra for me. It did. I'd say it at the end of the show, and then it started to stick with me. That idea, just do the right damn thing. Just do the right damn thing. And today I wake up with that thought, with that simple thought. Just do the right damn thing. It's really encompassed. And Carol, if you're watching, you'll notice I'm holding the Bible not upside down, but right side up. She got on my ass the other day. She said, hey, when you hold the Bible up, don't hold it upside down. And I was like, I didn't know I was. But I've been corrected. And I take that feedback as it's meant. Right side up, Carol. Anyway, just do the right damn thing. This book. This book. 2 simple ideas. Love thy neighbor as thyself, Joe Engel. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, Joe Engel. It's a simple idea. Just do the right damn thing. Now, that's not a Bible verse. I don't think you'd read that in any version of the Holy Bible. But it's my mantra. I mean that. And it evidently, a lot of people, it means something to them too. And that is extremely humbling. Extremely humbling. So with that said, we, again, for those just joining, I was told that Angie Back, former principal of R.W. Combs, that Angie Back, that I was told by the assistant superintendent that she was suspended without pay. I've been told that, no, she's been offered a job for $30,000 less, and she's just got a year to retirement. We do not want that miscreant, that degenerate, that protector of pedophiles and rapists. We do not want her to retire and get those retirement benefits. Someone who has shown no responsibility for the job and the position that she has held should not benefit from that in old age. She should be a Walmart greeter or work for the water company, and Scott Alexander can pay her $10 an hour. That's what she should be doing. Or just not being able to get a job, because there are people out there in society much more deserving, harder working, and intent on doing the right thing that are not able to get a job, while Angie Back is maybe being offered another job so she can continue her degeneracy. I don't think so. So, dial and smile, Brady. You've delayed too long. Let's see. I've got 606 439 5813. And I want to speak to the man that told me suspended without pay. And I'm hoping for a positive response. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping for something that makes me happy, that makes us happy. Because I'm not quite sure how I'll respond if the news is bad. It won't be a positive response. I'll be cordial. Stern but cordial. But I would imagine that my response, and bear in mind, with the exception of seeking justice for Emmeline Clark, what I've been doing on this show, I've had a lot of fun doing it. I would hate to imagine what happens when my motivation becomes one of vengeance and vindictiveness and revenge because maybe I was not told the truth. I can't imagine it would be a good thing. I can't imagine it'd be a good thing at all. I would imagine it would be a bad thing. Let me dial this up before I go off on another rant. Dial. Speakerphone. Ring.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for calling the Perry County School District.
You're welcome.
Where we expect success from all staff and students.
I don't believe that.
If you know the extension of the party you're trying to reach, you may dial it at any time.
I don't.
To speak with finance, press 1.
Nope.
To reach personnel, press 2.
Maybe 2.
To reach DPP attendance or student records, press 3.
Nope.
If you want to know our regular business
2.
hours and location, press 4.
I guess the location is right on Corruption Way. 1 Corruption Way.
Or press 9 to repeat the available
Let's
options.
try 0. Try 0 and we'll call back and do 2 just in case. Get a drink. I know they've got caller ID as well. because Johnny told me that the last time I called. Somebody's got Johnny Wooten's cell phone number. If you could post it or send. Hello?
Good morning, Perky Moore. This is Robin. How may I help you?
Hey, Robin, can I speak to the assistant superintendent, please?
Okay, one moment, please.
Thank you. It's ringing.
This is Johnny.
Johnny, how you doing?
I'm doing fine.
Good. How's the weather up there in Hazard?
It's was a little rainy, but it's sun shining now.
Sun shining here in Birmingham as well. You know, the weather never changes in Birmingham, Alabama. It's always hot, humid, and racist.
Yeah. Well, that's what I've heard. So.
Well, you heard right. It's like they took a snapshot of the 1950s and just left it in the state of Alabama to ferment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about right, I suppose. How can I help you, pal?
I tell you what, Angie back. I've been told that she was offered a $30,000 job, lower position, so she could see out her retirement.
No, there's not been any communication as far with my office. There's not been any communication with that. No.
That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear, because I was not happy.
Well, you know, we're not in a job to make people happy. Usually, we just try to go by by the law.
And you know what?
Yeah.
I like that, because the law doesn't give a damn if someone's happy or not. Justice needs to be served.
Yep, that's true. So, you know, there's a lot of times that we gotta, you know, abide by the law.
Yep. Well, now, Johnny, you told me to call you if I had any questions about anything.
Absolutely. You call me anytime, pal.
All right. Well, now, look, I appreciate you. I truly do.
Yep.
All right. Take care.
That's no problem, Brett. And it's the same thing. You know, if you have any questions, you always feel free to give me a call, and I'll do my best to tell you what we can.
You are the man. I appreciate you.
All right. See you. You have a
Take
good
care.
day, pal.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. Now, I believe Johnny. I do. Why do I believe Johnny? Well, I believe Johnny because I take people at their word, oddly enough. And come to find out, being on the bad guy side of things and now on the good guy side of things, and that child that went through all that abuse when I was a youngin', I developed me one hell of a lie detector. I can usually tell when someone's full of shit. Now, I believe Johnny and what he said, that no one's contacted his office about that. I believe that. I do. Now, does that mean that the story is not true? See, you got to pay attention. You got to pay attention to what people say now. I believe he told me the truth. I believe he doesn't know a thing about it. And I appreciate him saying we're not here to make people happy. That's why Donald Penishead Mobellini likes to call himself happy, because he damn sure doesn't make anyone happy except himself. Although I can't imagine why he'd be pleased. I would hope that he would lead a miserable existence. And maybe, you know, I understand that he's rumored to be somewhat promiscuous. I would hope that he has erection difficulties. That's what I would hope. I would hope that, you know, that he's not very well endowed. That'd be the first thing. That he's got a very small nut sack. That'd be the second thing. And that he has a lot of difficulty getting it up. My granddaddy, Paul Campbell, he used to say if he could get it up one more time, he'd duct tape a couple of popsicle sticks to it so it would stay up. So I would hope that Happy Mobellini would have the same difficulty. I don't know, but it's a hope. See, I have hopes and dreams. Keep hope alive. Okay, that's right. Keep on going, Martin Luther. That's right. That's Brett Johnson. Modern day Martin Luther King. I have hopes and dreams as much as anyone. Now, Angie back. I am not satisfied that she's maybe not been offered something, because that seems That would seem very apropos. I know that from what I understand, because my sister is a teacher, from what I understand, being part of the union, I think principals are part of that union as well, that the union will actually give them a lawyer. So we need to find out more about this Angie back situation. That's what we need to find out. That's exactly what we need to find out. Now, we're going to move along because we got shit to talk about. I mentioned Saturday. I'm going to check comments while I'm talking about this. Anybody knows anything more about, child predator protector, Angie back, by all means, let us know. As you see, we will do some shit. We will absolutely do some shit. Melon Smasher, this is what's wrong with Hazard. Everyone talks junk after you leave. Straight up cowards that love to talk about everyone. Keyboard warriors. Well, I mean, I got a keyboard. I got a keyboard. So I take some of that to heart. I do. Now, that being said, I did come out from behind the keyboard. I did. I then traveled my, somewhat thin ass, trying to gain some weight, my somewhat thin ass to Perry County, Kentucky, where I've been talking all that shit. I even drove in a gold vehicle. Well, it's called Tiger Eye Pearl, but it's goldish. The dealer referred to it as honey mustard, which kind of pissed me off. But I drove in on a vehicle that could not be missed. Promise you. No one in the county has another one. Promise you. Easy to find in a parking lot. Easy. So I drove in like that. Told everyone on Facebook where I was going to be. And Delph showed up. I had people texting me and calling me, hey, he's here. Okay. I'll be there in 5 minutes. That's what I said. Me thinking, hey, shit, if he can beat the hell out of his wife, surely to God, he can come over and say something to me. I'm right here. Shit, how intimidating can I be? I've got a Powerpuff Girls hat on. And Francis, if you're watching, I'm going to send it to you. She got on my ass. She's like, you didn't leave that Powerpuff hat. And I was like, shit, I didn't. So I got to send it to her. But anyway, Delph was there. I don't know why it was there. I don't know why he was there. I mean, he was there. He then pulls over. He was parked. He wouldn't even come and be friendly or unfriendly. He was parked over by the pool. We were down the street. And then he gets that courageous wild hair in his ass. He then pulls over. Doesn't park where we are. He pulls up on the other side. And then I didn't see it. If I'd have saw it, I'd have walked over to him. Then he gets out of his truck. And I guess he takes 2 steps. 2 steps towards the guy. I'm like a hairless teddy bear. So I'm like a hairless teddy bear. Come on, man. What do you think I'm going to do? All right. He takes 2 steps, tucks tail, gets back in his truck, and drives away. I guess he knew. I won't say anything behind a keyboard or behind your back that I won't say to your face. You can bet your ass on that one. So he showed up. And then there was Softball Guy that has to hide. I mean, his kids were adorable from what I saw. Hopefully they don't grow up to be like him. Hopefully they grow up to be men. Because he was not. It was not. A man would have walked up and had a discussion. Regardless, that's what a man would have done. Delph, Softball Guy. But no, Softball Guy. And dude, I'm going to tell you, look, was Delph driving a Chevy truck too? I've never owned a Chevy truck, but I know the softball guy was, and it turns me off on the Chevy Silverado brand. It does. Because I'm thinking now, well, shit, if they're driving that, I don't want to drive that. Softball guy has to hide behind those tykes were, shit, they weren't intimidating. I don't know how they could protect him. They were small. They were small. And their poo would have been small too. They were small. Yet he hides behind them. Like they're going to protect him. Like I'm going to cause him some sort of harm. And he waits until I leave. Had ample opportunity. I literally passed by the guy. Within 5 feet. Francis and I get out. We're walking because we didn't want to talk. We're walking. I passed by within 5 feet of the guy. Hey, dude, what's up? Because I'm a friendly son of a bitch. I am. If I hate you, I would say to Happy, I would say, hello, Happy, how you doing? Hope you die, you son of a bitch. But I'd say it in a friendly manner. I would say it friendly. I'm a friendly person. Gregarious, that's the word. So I said to the guy, hey, dude, what's up or how you doing? I said some bullshit like that. He mumbled something. It wasn't in a threatening manner. It was in a quiet church house manner. That's what it was like. It was in a quiet church house manner where he could say, I said this, but he wouldn't have to say the rest of it. Thank God Brett Johnson didn't hear it. Because if I would have heard, I'm not threatening. Why do you think that? Well, I'm sorry you think that. I'm sorry you're raising 2 kids to think the same as you. Hopefully they differ from you at the end of the day. And that might have pissed him off. And I wouldn't have cared. I would have chuckled. That's what I would have done. Chuckled. Because I'm a chucklehead. That's right. All right, moving right along. I don't want to talk about Shaun White. Here we go. I've lost everything multiple times, and God always allowed me to rebuild. It was always for a greater good to allow me to do my civic duty to do the right thing. I was talking about this yesterday with my girlfriend. And I was telling her that she and I are exactly where God wants us right now, doing exactly what we are supposed to be doing. I have a profound, I said this several times to people while I was in Perry County. I have a profound degree of faith. Profound. It's a scary degree, but it's comforting. It's comforting that I know everything's going to work out the way it's supposed to work out. I have no idea what that is. Not a clue. But I'm following those guideposts. I have faith in that direction. And I'm okay. And I was telling her, you're going to be okay too. You're going to be okay too. Everything will work out exactly how it's supposed to work out. We're exactly where we are supposed to be at this moment in time, doing exactly what we are supposed to be doing. I fully believe that. Fully believe that. That's why I knew, Brett, you're going to Perry County, period. And Brett, you're going back to Perry County. I don't know when, but sometime soon. All right. So, definitely time for a change and get these crooks out of office. Damn straight. Damn straight. All right. Matthew 22, 37 through 40. I'll go over that tomorrow. How's that sound? All right. Howard's just telling the truth. Brother, we stood and talked right in the middle of town you weren't afraid to be in. Hazard. Yeah, Howard and I talked for several minutes. People buzzing by. Perry County deputy's car. Probably not Chris Jones. I wonder if Chris Jones is taking his keys out of his ignition these days. That's all I wonder. I wonder if Perry County Sheriff's Department actually paid for maybe, a GPS tracker to go in just his vehicle because he's apt to lose it. That's what I'm wondering. I'm wondering, because I was told that Chris Jones still lives with his mommy and his granny. I'm wondering if he has to get permission to leave the house and if he has a curfew. Chris, I know that you're 28 I know that you're the oldest man to ever graduate high school in the state of Kentucky, but you're living under my roof. I'm your mommy, and mommy says you have to be home by 10 p.m. And if you're not home by 10, you lose your phone. And you're not allowed to play Xbox. And I won't make you any more of those crustless peanut butter sandwiches. Nom, 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 nom. I won't do that. So be in by 10, son. I wonder if Chris has conversations like that with his mom. I wonder if she scolded him when he lost his vehicle and didn't take the keys out of the ignition. I wonder if she told him, now, Chris, you know, crime happens because of idiots like you. You should always take your keys out and you should always lock your door. Did you not lock the back door? You had a criminal in the back seat. Did you not lock it? You should always lock criminals up, Chris. That's literally your job. You're supposed to lock criminals up. You didn't lock him up. You left the back door open. And you left the keys in your ignition. It's no wonder that he stole it. It's like an invitation. You literally invited him and you turned your back to him while you were hitting on women. Chris, don't you have a woman in your life? Evidently, Chris, mommy didn't do a good enough job with you. We're on a roll this morning. It's a Monday and we're feeling good. All right, so we'll go over some of these comments. Sean White. Now, I mentioned Saturday about a candidate for sheriff. Bam, bam, bam. Shoot a dog in the head, Pull out that firearm. Today's your last day of wolfing in the real world. We send you to the other side. You're going to meet Cerebus and the ferryman, and maybe you two dogs can become friendly because your time on earth is nigh. So I talked about that. And I didn't say the name because I wanted to get the full story. Okay? But I also said, now, Pooky, somebody do something a little Pooky. I am not John Wick, but I will pretend to be. I like my dogs. I like my pets. I love animals. Oftentimes, I love animals more than human beings because, let's be honest, a lot of the times animals are a hell of a lot better than human beings. So I said this, and I was like, I don't like the idea of that. I don't like the idea of a sheriff's candidate, someone's trying to be serving and protecting the community, to just shoot a little pooch. And I had, I was, my mind's eye, the way I viewed it in my head, was this cuddly, fluffy, adorable, friendly little pup. Maybe it's chasing a little ball that accidentally rolled over into the yard next door. And it's happy. And it's like, I'm going to get my ball and I'm going to take it back to my owner, my friend that I love unconditionally. And I'm going to give it to him and he's going to throw it again and I'm going to get it. And I just got the best life in the world. And he's going to take me in. And after that, he's going to give me some treats and we're going to snuggle. We're going to snuggle. That's what we're going to do. And maybe he'll cover me up with a blanket and coo to me. That's what I was picturing. Of course it is. Because I'm like a hairless teddy bear. I'm friendly and gregarious. And I always think the best of people and dogs. However, evidently, the way that I viewed things was not the reality. You see, sometimes we think something, and sometimes what we think and we picture is not really what happens. It's not. Like I say, that Scott Blair, his bottom is like a hot dog down a hallway. That's what I picture. That doesn't mean it's reality. That's just what I picture. I picture that, Donald Penis Head Mobilini has a penis head. It turns out that picture's true, but sometimes it's not. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, evidently. Now, I like pit bulls. I do. I like Staffordshire Terriers. I do. I really like those animals. They're good-looking animals. They can be very friendly. They're very protective. They can be good around children. I also know that they still got that shit in them, regardless of what anybody out there may post in a couple of minutes. Somewhere in there, they got that line in them. All right, they got that line that, by God, excuse me for saying that by George, they might sometimes go off. Usually it doesn't happen. 99% of the time, it doesn't happen. It doesn't. If you raise the animal like that, yeah, you're going to bring that out. That disposition, that genetic disposition. You're going to bring that shit out. I am told that what happened is, and I believe this because I like Shaun White, during that, it wasn't a debate, but when Jesse Day and him were on camera at WSGS, Shaun White came off extremely competent. He knew what law enforcement was about. He knew the ideas and the concepts behind serving and protecting the community. He said exactly what needed to be said, with the exception of allowing four-wheelers on the road. Why? I know why he did it, because he said no. If he would have said no, he would have lost some votes. That's why he said that. He knows as well as I do, those vehicles are not meant for pavement. They're not. They're not. A car is. Those vehicles are not. All right. And the chances of getting hurt, getting in an accident, everything else increases dramatically, because you've got idiots oftentimes that are operating the damn things. I used to teach an ATV safety class. I know how those damn things operate. I know they're not supposed to be on pavement. They work differently. They're meant for off-road, period. He said, yeah, we should allow them on there because he didn't want to lose votes. Jesse Day said all kinds of bullshit. That was wrong. Just outright wrong. Wrong. Shaun White came off very well. I like the man. Truly do. What I'm told, and I believe this, I'm told Pitbull came over, was attacking another dog, killing it. Now, White saved the other dog. And I've seen dogs do this. Two dogs had this smaller one at both ends, and they were ripping the dog. And I've seen two dogs kill another animal doing that. It's a horrible sight. Shaun saved the animal that was being done to. He tried to separate the dog to get the dog to stop, the pit. He even took a shovel to it out of desperation, and the dog would not, kept right at it. So what do you do at that point? Now, I'm a felon. I am not allowed to own a firearm. Supposedly, I can get permission to get one. And I'm going to try to get permission because I would like me a Glock 19. I like Glock because Glock will fire. I don't give a shit what you do to it. It will fire. I like Glock. I also like a 12-gauge shotgun. You know, people talk about AR-15s being the home defense weapon of choice. That's all good and dandy. If I'm seeing a home invasion at 3 o'clock in the morning and I'm a little bleary-eyed and just coming out of rest, I don't want to have to take the time to point an AR-15 at a specific assailant. What I want to do is I want to grab a 12-gauge shotgun with double-aught buckshot, and I want to point in the general direction of the assailant, and I want to unload. That's exactly, especially if I can get double barrel. Both barrels, double-aught buckshot. To me, just in the general direction of the assailant, because I'm bleary-eyed. I'm coming out of a slumber where I'm dreaming of all the miscreants in eastern Kentucky burning in the fiery fires of hell. So I'm coming out of a pleasant dream. I'm bleary-eyed. I don't really know what's going on, but I know there's an assailant. I don't want to take time to aim an AR-15. I want to take that double barrel and just point, because I don't have focus yet. I'm going to point in the general direction of the assailant. And at that point, that assailant's going to realize, shit, He just has to point in the general direction of where I am. And I don't become an assailant anymore. I become a victim. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. Right now, the only thing I've got is a cricket bat. And I don't look forward, but I mean, I don't not look forward to using it. I don't play cricket. I don't. So I'm just saying. Anyway, at that point, Sean goes and gets his weapon, kills the animal. Okay. And I'm sorry. And now I understand that the animal may have been loved by the owners. It may have been, fine and everything else. But if that's what happened, my only response is and. Okay. That's it. That's it. Nothing else. We on the Brett Johnson Show, we tell the truth. Now, if I'm told different and some other people come and tell me different, we'll have that talk too. All right. Right now, Okay, I love animals, but you can't allow something like that to take place. You can't. So there we go. All right. Check the comments. What else I need to talk about? I need to find out more about Haven King. Some people reached out to me. Wanda Pollard, I had a Glock, but I couldn't hit a bull in the butt with it, so I traded it in, hopefully for a Remington 870. Because one of the scariest, I imagine that one of the scariest sounds to any assailant or anyone on the opposite side of a Remington 870 is the ratchet of that pump. That's your ass. Is an 870 pump? I don't even know now. It's been a minute. Like I said, it's been a minute. I'm not allowed to own firearms. Now, when I was married, I'll tell you what G. Gordon Liddy used to say on his radio show. Now, G. Gordon Liddy was that guy during the Nixon administration who served some prison time. Devout conservative. He goes to prison. He steals while he's in prison, he steals all the weapons on the compound and all the guards had, and he sends them into the DOJ. He did shit like that. All right. G. Gordon Liddy on his TV show, because he was a felon, not his TV, but his radio show, he used to say, as a felon, I am not allowed to own or possess any firearms. But my wife has quite the arsenal. That's what he said. I am of that opinion. That's what I am of. I no longer have a wife. So I am, my significant other. I'm sure I'll have another one. But so far, there's no significant armory within distance. It leaves me feeling a bit naked, which would be dangerous if I were around Scott Blair. Just saying, just throwing that out there. Now, two things I want to talk about. Getting a little bit more serious now, all right? The first, let's see here. Now, I'm told, shit, something fell. I'm told shit. Look, so, Ned Pillersdork. Ned, I got your message. You couldn't send it to me. You didn't know my address, which, okay. You sent it to Jordan, said you and the other, because I'm that guy that, I guess I'm the other, supposed to go to other bathrooms and other water fountains. I'm now others. You have to quit talking about the principal of Cordia High School, because what you're saying is demonstrably false. Which, I don't know if it is or not. I don't know. I know that I will refrain until I get the education records in, until I have more people corroborating what I've been told. I will refrain from some of the stuff I'm saying. Now, I am told. I have been told, and a couple of people have said it, which means I'm going to say it. Mm-hmm. That's how that works. You see, if I have more than one person saying it, and that more than one person, they don't know each other, they're not connected to each other, and they say the exact same damn thing, and they happen to go or work at that facility, chances are I'm going to call them, as you know, Google does consider me a journalist, I'm going to call them an anonymous source. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to shield myself by journalistic integrity and privacy, as the people did with the Pentagon Papers. That's what I'm going to do. And Ned Pillersdork, you are welcome to Google or use ChatGPT to look up the Pentagon Papers and what that means for a journalist, because I'm a journalist of integrity and language. You're welcome to find out what that means for someone like me. So, hello. I'm not saying it. This guy is. Yeah, this guy is. Hey, how you doing? Do you have anything to say about the principal of Cordia High School?
Yeah, I got something to say.
What do you got to say?
Well, I would like to sing a song that was made very popular by Cheech and Chong.
Cheech and Chong.
Cheech and Chong. I don't smoke, but if I did, I'd like to smoke a blunt with those guys.
A song. How does that apply to the principal of Cordia High School?
Let me sing it, and everybody might find out at that point.
Okay. Sing your song.
Okay. Mexican Americans, they like education, so they go to night school and take Spanish and get a B.
That's the song.
That's the song.
Cheech and Chong.
Cheech and Chong. Everyone should watch all the movies. It's got Pee Wee Herman.
Why does that apply to the principal of Cordia High School?
Well, because evidently, more than one person has said it. She referred to some Mexican Americans as beaners, beaners, beaners.
We don't use language like that on the show.
I don't either. I say fuck. Fuck her!
Thank you for coming on. We're going to get rid of you right now, okay?
Okay.
All right, so I'm told that she called some Hispanic individuals beaners. Now, here's the thing. We do not support any racism, bigotry, anything like that on this show. We do not. I said yesterday, I don't give a damn what your sexual proclivities are. I care if you've used your position to fulfill some of those sexual proclivities. I am told that she has referred to some of the population of Hispanics or Latinos, depending on what part of the country you're in, Latinos or Hispanics, as beaners. Now, that may not seem like that bad of a thing if you're not Latino or Hispanic. If you are, that is an insult. That's a bad insult. That's as bad. That's as bad as using the N-word to refer to someone that is African American or black. All right? It's as bad as that. We do not support any degree of bigotry or racism on this show. I don't care who you fuck. I don't. I care if it's a child that you're raping. I care if it is, excuse me. I care if it is you using your position of power to fulfill your sexual fetishes. I care If you have students under your charge and you're using language like that, I care a lot. I care if you're a bigot overall or a hypocrite. That bothers me. All flesh is equal when burned. That's Hail the Apocalypse from Avatar. And I'm a huge heavy metal fan. I listen to all forms of music, heavy metal, red dirt music out of Texas. I'm a huge fan of that. Ray Wiley Hubbard, love that guy. I listen to jazz, to blues, Buddy Guy. I'm on a Buddy Guy kick right now. I like metal because I listen to Seven Dust, and I've seen that show live several times, and there's a reason that no other rock band on the planet wants to follow Seven Dust, because they absolutely blow everyone else away.
Pooky, get away from that.
Sorry. So, metal allows people to vent a lot of anger and emotion a lot of the time. It's a very healthy thing. I listen to a lot of metal because some people say that I have anger issues. I would not know why they say that, but they say it. Anyway, we don't allow, I can't stop it, but we don't condone any form of racism or bigotry on this show. We don't. I had somebody Saturday or the show before that commented on Jewish people. I shut that down immediately. We don't do that. All right. So you keep the comments on ethnicity, on all this stuff to yourself. All right. Do not throw Bible verses at me that damns any group of people. All right. That's between you and the Bible. On this show, we do not condone any form of bigotry or racism. And when I was told that she was saying that, it occurs to me that a lot of times, a lot of these slurs, people don't think that they're very serious because they do not belong to the group of people that are being slurred. It matters. It matters. And this book that, Carol, I'm holding it right side up. This book even says that too. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. And that means, we call people out on this show. The book's not saying not to do that. Treat people like you'd want to be treated. And if you're slurring a group of people, you are not doing that. You are not doing that. So please bear that in mind. The principle of cordia, I'm told by at least two people that language was used. That is unacceptable. And that is the only time you will hear that word on this show. Not unacceptable, but beaner. That's the only time you're going to hear that. I don't traffic in ethnic slurs. I don't do that. I don't traffic in bigotry. We don't do this on the show. We're better than that. So, moving right along. Check the comments real quick. I'm going to close out talking about autism. Okay. We are running late today. Wanda Pollard, no Frankenberry, just honest. Honesty doesn't mean you have to be brave. I mean, that's true. That's true. It doesn't. There is a difference between the two. All right. Got to be pretty brave to go throwing slurs around against God's chosen people, or any people for that matter. That's true. I mean, foolish. I would say uneducated and ignorant, but that would not be true, would it? I mean, we try to put off people who are racist and bigoted as being uneducated, stupid, dumb, ignorant. It's not really the truth. I mean, some of those people are. Some are. But, and there's always a but. And here's the rule, right? No matter what you say, if you put a but right after it, it negates everything that you just said. But a lot of people that use those slurs or who are bigots are educated. They are smart. They are intelligent. They are just choosing to denigrate a group of people. Unacceptable. Absolutely unacceptable. Autism. Autism. I am on the scale. That should come as no surprise to anyone. Yep, I knew Brett was there somewhere. All right, yeah, I am. I have a degree. I've never been diagnosed, but I know what it is. And I refer to myself as having a degree of Asperger's syndrome. All right. In that I get focused on things. And I stay focused on them to the nth degree. Like corruption in Perry County. Like Penis Head Bobolini. Like Scott Blair. Like all these other people. I stay on stuff for a long time. And I keep hammering at it and keep going at it. I was sent a video of, I guess it was some police officers in Perry that were belligerent and physical with someone who is highly autistic. Highly autistic. That is also unacceptable. We are going to start hammering the hell out of that. The problem is that, we see someone who is different. And a lot of the times those people who are different, they have different skin colors, or they talk differently than us. They have a different language, or they have an accent. They dress differently. They live in different places. They don't come from the same culture that we do. They don't believe in the same God that we do. And because of that, sometimes people think less of them. Because of that, sometimes people don't want to get to know them, to identify with them. They're scared. And a lot of the times that fear results in bad things happening. Sometimes it's not the color or the dress or the language or the culture. Sometimes it's someone who has some mental issues, or they're autistic. That's a better word for it. They're autistic. That word exists for a reason. So sometimes they're autistic. Sometimes they, sometimes you know that they have the round face or something like that. And a lot of people are scared to be around someone like that. They're scared. They don't know how to act. So they avoid those people. And maybe if they have children of their own, they tell their children, come along now. So that the children can grow up and avoid those people as well. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Oddly enough, that means people of color, of different ethnicities, of different languages and accents and economic factors. It means all of those people. It also means people who have autism, who may be physically or mentally disabled. And I hate to use the word disabled. Just because they're different doesn't mean it's disabled. But sometimes, people don't remember that those two little ideas in this book applies to everyone for a reason. All flesh is equal when burned. We all come into this earth, or on this earth, naked and a dumbass. And all of us leave this world naked and a dumbass. All of us. We A lot of people forget that along the way. The way this autistic person was treated was asinine. Treated by people in authority who were either ignorant, scared, or chose to harass and mistreat this individual. I guess what I'm trying to say today is that if you see someone out, I've said this about senior citizens, if you see someone out, it's okay to say hello. Most of them aren't going to bite. It's okay to say hello. It's okay to walk up and get to know that person. Or just say hello. You don't have to tuck tail and run because you don't know how to act around them. You don't have to avoid them. You're not going to catch it. Okay? You're not going to catch anything. People with Down syndrome. A lot of people try to avoid people with Down syndrome. And I honestly don't know why. I honestly don't know why. Because you don't know how to act? Because you think you're going to catch something? So what, man? You're not going to catch anything. You can wash your hands if you're that worried about it. Carry some hand sanitizer. It's okay to know your fellow human being, regardless of how different you may think they are from you. It's okay to love your neighbor as yourself. It's okay to do that. It's what we're supposed to do as human beings. I'm going to be talking more about this incident as I find out more. This is not the first time. I was told that I make fun of Chris Jones a lot. I was told that Chris Jones stopped an individual. The dad was driving. The son, highly autistic, in the passenger seat, front seat. And Chris starts to denigrate that individual. I will not make a joke about that, because that kind of stuff is serious. As a parent who loves their child, knows their child, and you've got an asshole cop that just wants to be an asshole. Those are the type of people that don't need to hold positions of authority. They don't need to be in office. They don't need that. And we don't need that as a society. So my hope is that if anyone is out there that is listening to this, think about things, understand that people can be different. They're still people, that people can be autistic or physically challenged or mentally challenged. They're still human beings. Treat people as you would want to be treated. Love your neighbor as you would love yourself. Just do the right damn thing. Okay, my name is Brett Johnson. I got to get ready. Got a lawyer's meeting later on this afternoon. I think today has been, to me anyway, sometimes I'm wrong. To me anyway, this has been a really good show today. I don't think I've covered everything that was listed in the show notes. I need to find out more about Haven King. Absolutely more about that. And everything else. Okay, so please keep sharing things from not only Perry County, keep messaging me about things that are going on in Perry, but also Eastern Kentucky. And if you're someplace that you need some assistance, that we can, shed some light on some things, by all means, reach out. Okay, by all means. Brett, keep bringing the truth. These pieces of shit who are corrupt needs to be held accountable. And it's time for a change. We have had enough. We have had enough. That's a fact. Everyone is different in their own way. Treat everyone the way you want to be treated. No matter. Happy Mama Lady's grandma raised him and he wouldn't even tie his own shoes. Instead, his grandma did all that through him. Thank God for Velcro. I wonder if the son of a bitch wears Velcro or just loafers these days. Just asking. Inquiring minds want to know. Stephanie Smith. Pontius Pilate, the Roman governor who ordered, wasn't it Pontius Pilate who ordered it to, let me repeat that. Actually, was Pontius Pilate the Roman governor who ordered it under pressure from the Jewish leaders. It was Roman soldiers who physically carried out the crucifixion. Much love. Hey, you guys can argue theology and the historic events as to what happened at that point. There's all kinds of data and accounts outside of the Bible that talk about the way things were governed at that point in time, and I urge everyone to reach out and do so. Okay? Let's see. Howard Sumner, thank you for everything you do. Francis Everidge, they gave those officers in London a choice to be fired or resign. Why were they given a choice? They abused the young man. It was police brutality. Why didn't they go to jail? Laurel County, you got some answering to do on that. See, just like that, we're in Laurel County. We are in Laurel County now. That's a fact. We don't put up with bullshit like that. They gave the officers a choice to be fired or resign. They brought them in. Hey, I like you. I like you a lot. I know that we together have done some shit, and you know some shit on me. So, you got yourself in a mess. You did. I can't dig you out of this. I got it on camera. Shit. They already said over to Brett Johnson he's going to show the video tomorrow. He's going to show the video. He's saying it right now. Look at him. He's saying it right now on his show. He's talking about me. He's actually, I don't know how he's doing it. He must have a mic in the room. He must have a mic because he's saying exactly what I'm saying as I'm saying it to you. So, because I can't save your ass this time, what you going to do? I can either fire you, and it's going to look bad on your record. It's going to look really bad. Or you can resign. Personally, I choose resignation. That way, maybe you can find some other police station and find some other autistic people that you can be brutal to. Because your days of being brutal here, I wish they could continue, but they can't continue in Laurel County. So please resign and go someplace else. So I imagine that's what the conversation was like. Francis Everidge is absolutely correct. Why were they given a choice? There should be no choice. No, there should be no choice. At that point in time, you call that former police officer in because that's what he is. You call that former guy who thought he had a career in law enforcement because he no longer has. You call that guy in and you say, hey, what the fuck are you doing? We don't allow that. That's not what law enforcement is about. You asshole. Get out of here. Leave your badge. Leave your gun. Don't go back to your desk. We're escorting you out of the building. I'm going to do every single thing I can to make sure that you never work in law enforcement again. That is the conversation that is supposed to happen. That didn't happen. Instead, you had this mealy-mouthed, whiny guy. Yeah, I want you to go ahead and resign. You had that guy. How a guy like that, with a voice like that, could ever end up in a position like that and not do the right damn thing to a couple of cops that decide to brutalize an autistic person, I have no idea. Unacceptable. So, maybe we'll start tomorrow off playing the video, calling the Laurel County PD and asking them about the choice. Because, when I was arrested, I was not given a choice. I couldn't look at him and say, hey, could you arrest me next year? Or, hey, could you just not arrest me? Can you just let me go? No, I was not given a choice. I did wrong. I wasn't given a choice. These cops did wrong, and they were given a choice. Don't like that. That seems to be a bit of hypocrisy to me. So we're going to take care of that bullshit. You can bet your ass on that one. You can bet your ass on that one. See, Francis doesn't like that bullshit either. And they knew he had autism. Of course they did. Of course they did. Because a lot of people make themselves feel better by victimizing people they think they can victimize, by victimizing and denigrating individuals who they view as less than they are because they're just different. Francis gets you off handle today. I love Francis. They made fun of him on the body cams, laughed about smacking him in the face. Think about it for a second. You got a couple of cops sworn to serve and protect, have no idea of that oath they took, what it meant. They just said the words. You got a couple of cops smacking this guy around, knowing he's autistic, smacking him around, joking about it while they're doing it. And then their superior officer, because all the shit's hit the fan, superior officer calls him in.
If I were you, I would go ahead and resign. I don't want to have to fire you. I mean, I agree with what you did. I do. I wish, honestly, if it were me, if I were there, I'd like to smack the guy around too. That's why I hired you. I knew you had that in you.
So, we are going to be raising a lot of hell. And Francis, you're absolutely right. I watched the video. That's very disturbing. We're going to be playing that video because we're all about getting that disturbing truth out there as well. And again, Howard Sumner, the dude just says exactly the truth. I've yet to read anything he's posted yet on this show or said when he called in that wasn't true or when I met him. He just told the truth. So, seems to me that maybe we need a mayor that might be a little honest sometimes. Laurel County as a whole is a mess right now. There's several incidents. That's what I needed to hear. I need to know more about the incidents that are taking place in Laurel County, so we can go in there and raise some hell as well. All right. So, you guys, please reach out. Please reach out. Okay. And let us know. Francis, I see that you are more than a little upset about this. I can promise you we are not going to let that go at all. I can promise you that. We'll be calling them tomorrow. See if they pick up. Maybe they will. Maybe they will. We'll see. Okay. Joshua Miller. Hey, Brett, got a testimony I'd like to share when you got time, about 5 pages. If you got time, I can message you. Please message if you don't mind. We'll go from there. I'm making my way through all those messages right now. So please do that. Okay. All right. So we're going to end it with what Francis says at the end. One of these officers even said, my niece has autism. Really? So you know what that looks like, and you upheld that abuse. Well, there you go. There you go. The Brett Johnson Show, as it was said, I think I said that earlier, we're all about raising hell, colorful language, roasting people's asses, and telling the truth while we do it. We're all about that. That's a feel-good moment right there. Even though a lot of the stuff that we talk about is not feel-good stuff. It's not. Like this autistic thing that happened. That's nothing to feel good about. That we have members in our society in positions of power that are behaving like that. No, it's not just these cops, is it? It's the whole system. It's the whole system. It's the superior officer who gives them a choice. It's the county judge executives who have profited untellingly how much through their position in power. It's the county attorneys, the prosecutors who demand sexual favors in order for lighter sentences or lighter prosecutions. It's the judges in Letcher County who run sex rings. It's the sheriffs who know about it and protect it until it hits home. It's the mayors. It's the system itself, populated by people who abuse the system so they can further profit or gain more power. And they protect those only those who benefit them instead of everyone in society as they should. That's the issue. That is why this show exists. This show started because of Emmeline Clark, and we will see justice done on that. We absolutely will. I will not meet the family of Emmeline Clark and see the damage and the harm that's been done and just the hurt that emanated from every single person in that room and not do something about it. And it's not just them. It's people throughout Eastern Kentucky, throughout the United States that see this every single day, that have to suffer from these things every single day. So if we use colorful language, if we are belligerent, if we upset people because of how we are belligerent, so what? So what? We are absolutely raising awareness. We are making a difference. We are Eastern Kentucky. We are a proud people. We do stand tall. We do the right thing. We have had enough. And that is all there is to it. And that finishes off today's show. I love you guys. I love you guys. We will not give up. We will not give up. Yeah, we can make a difference. This idea that people have had, you can't change things. You're wrong. You can. You can. Just means willpower. You just have to have the will to do it. You got to be able to stand up and say, fuck it. Someone's got to do something. It's got to start somewhere. It's got to start somewhere. Yeah, you can make a difference. Yeah, you can cause change to happen. You absolutely can. Anybody who tells you different, they're wrong. And you need to tell them they're wrong. You are wrong. Things will never change. You are wrong. I know things will change. I have a profound degree of faith that things will change. The man who they nailed to a tree because he said, love thy neighbor as thyself, and to do unto others as you would have them do unto you. They nailed his ass to a tree for that. He knew things would change. Yeah, you can change. You just have to have the willpower and the courage to do it. That's it. I love you guys. Damn right I do. I love you. I'll see you tomorrow. 9-ish a.m. Eastern-ish in the morning. Until then, what do we say? Just do the right damn thing. Talk to you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.